Welcome to Your Daily Writing Habit. I am your host, Christine Whitmarsh, and people call me Christine Ink. That is spelled I-N-K, like the stuff you write with. Each day, I am sharing with you the daily writing habits I've accumulated over my 18 years as a professional ghostwriter, book coach, and author. I have found that three things in particular can have a huge impact on your success as an author. And those three things are your writing fundamentals, your productivity habits, and mindset. So those are the areas my daily writing habits will focus on. The center of my zone of genius, as the expression goes in business, is helping people write their memoirs, specifically something called a self-help memoir. Now, the term self-help memoir is something I first spotted several years ago in a New York Times article when this type of book first started getting hot. A self-help memoir is a book that blends together, ideally in a very seamless way, a specific angle on your life story, which is what a memoir is, versus a biography that's more of just a chronological tell-all of your life story. A memoir is a very, very specific angle and telling of your life story. So a self-help memoir blends that with a thread of lessons that readers can apply to their own lives. The genius of a self-help memoir lies in its intersection, as I call it, of story and message. Let me explain. A memoir by itself tells the life story, but doesn't always make clear the intended transformation for the reader. Sure, a savvy reader, they'll be able to read between the lines and find all sorts of standalone lessons in someone else's life story, but there's really no cohesive or at least intentional A to B transformation. I call it like point A to point B transformation that's woven into the memoir. It's more like if you find a lesson, good for you, but that's not really the intention of the author. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, this is real-time radio. A purely self-help book has all the shoulds, the should, you should do this, you should do that, you should do what I did, about how you should live your own life. And, that can come off less authentic. Let's just say that if someone's just kind of, as I call it, shoulding all over you about how you should live your life. And that can come off as a little bit less connected than when you add the life story piece, when you add the memoir piece. When you add the memoir piece to the self-help piece, that's when you get the rapport that comes when an author opens up and shares their own triumphs and failures. A self-help memoir, therefore, has both story and message. And when crafted well, the reader can't tell where one ends and the other begins. I have to say, finding that intersection of story and message and developing it into a book architecture and then later on into a book itself, that is one of my greatest writer geek joys in life. Finding that intersection of story and message and seeing what the possibilities are for the book. So if you're interested in writing your own self-help memoir, here are 2 questions you can journal about right now to help get you started. The first question that I want you to journal about is, so far in your life, what has been the single most transformative event that has happened to you? I'll repeat that. The first question to journal on, if you're wanting to write your self-help memoir, so far in your life, what has been the single most transformative event that has happened to you? And for the second question, what were the biggest life lessons that came from that event? So those are your 2 journaling your exercise for the day. And thank you so much for tuning into your daily writing habit today. I really appreciate it. And if you know anyone else who is writing a book or who wants to write a book, I'd love it if you would share this flash briefing with them so I can help them succeed as well. Please remember to tune in again tomorrow. And until then, happy writing.